Jesus is on the road, crossing borders, going places he probably shouldn't go. Right? What do we know about Samaria? Is it a good place? If you're Jewish? No! It's a place where the Jews went around. Because those Samaritans, they're no good. They're not like us. They believe different things. They eat different things. Believe different things. They're not like us. We are not going to go anywhere near them. In fact, we're going to hate them because they're so different from us. And yet that's exactly where we find Jesus this week. Going where we probably wouldn't go. And he's talking about this little 5-letter word called faith. Faith again. And this time it's with a bunch of sick people. All right, lepers. We have a couple of doctors here. What do we know about leprosy? It's what?
Contagious.
It's very contagious, yes. And so the lepers had to be out on their own. They were not allowed to live in the village with the other people. What else do we know about leprosy? Anyone?
Disfiguring.
It's what?
Disfiguring.
It's disfiguring. Yeah, it's not a good disease to have. Not that any disease is good, I suppose, but this one is particularly hideous because you start to lose pieces of your skin. I mean, it's invasive. And so the lepers are like out of the village, and they see Jesus when he's coming into Samaria, and they cry out to him for help. And they say, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." And Jesus, what does he do? He looks at them. I find that fascinating. He looks at them. I wonder what he's looking at. Is he looking in their hearts? Is he looking at their bodies? What's he looking at? And then he tells them, go. Go and see the priest. He doesn't come up to them. He doesn't touch them. He doesn't do anything except tell them to go. And what do? They go, right? I guess they figure they have nothing to lose. And so they go to the priests, and as they are walking back into the village, they notice that all of a sudden, there's no more leprosy. That they have been made clean. That Jesus has healed them. And when one of them notices this, he turns back away from the other 9 and he goes to Jesus. I picture him running. He can't wait to say to Jesus, "Thank you." And knowing no other way to do this, he falls at his feet and he worships him. And then I think Jesus asked the question that the rest of us are thinking, right? What does Jesus ask the man? Yeah, where's the other 9? Weren't all 10 of you healed? Where are the other 9? Weren't they healed also? And I think when we hear this story, it's easy for us to get mad at the other 9. I mean, come on. Jesus has just saved them from a life of misery. Jesus has given them their lives back, right? No longer are they outcasts out on the fringes of society. Now they are clean. Now they have been made whole. Now they are free. But thankfully, Jesus doesn't seem to think like we do. And I don't think his question is said in anger. What about the other 9? Because the other 9 do exactly what Jesus tells them to do. The other 9 do exactly what I think we do when we've been blessed. We get caught up in their excitement because Jesus has healed them. Jesus has given them their life back. They're free. They're whole. And they're saved. But one who returns, grateful for what he received, and through his gratitude he expresses doubly blessed in recognizing his blessing, the healing, and also in giving thanks for that healing. He's giving Jesus thanks and healing for the saving Jesus provides. And he recognizes through this healing how very blessed he is. And so my question for you today, beloved, is do we recognize our blessings? How many of you right now feel blessed? Yes. I think sometimes it's easy to see our blessings, at least here when we're in church, right? But how many times in our past, maybe, is it easy to focus on the things we don't have instead of on the things we do have? I wonder, is that human nature? To want more, to be dissatisfied with what we have. I mean, how many of us have been held captive, have been slaves to the if-onlys? You know what I'm talking about? If only I had better health, then I could do what Jesus wants me to do. If only I had a little more money, then, Jim, I could give more to the church if I had a little bit more. If only I had more time. This is one that I struggle with a lot. If only I had more time, Jesus, then I would do what you wanted me to do, but instead I'm doing this. How many of us are outcasts, plagued by the judgment of others? Maybe your friends, maybe your associates, maybe your colleagues. They ask you questions. Why do you go to church every week? Why do you have to go to church every week? Don't you have more important things that can be done? Why do you spend your hard-earned money on church work, on missions? Couldn't you use that money? Why do you give so much of your time? You come in here for meetings and Bible studies and worship. Don't you have better things you could be doing? Like sitting at home on Sunday morning with that cup of coffee, reading the paper? And we rationalize. We say, well, I'll be praying, at least for the people I read about. Same thing as going to church. How many of us, beloved, long to be whole? To be free from the addiction, or the negative attitudes, or the feelings of unworth that plague us? That's exactly why he came. He came to heal. He came to free. He came to make us whole. So that no longer are we outcasts, or slaves, or oppressed. Now we are free, and we are whole, and we are saved. And all of these things, beloved, are incredible blessings. But until we can name those blessings in our lives, until we can maybe write them down, I think sometimes we don't recognize the blessings that we have. Let me give you an example. So last November, for our anniversary, Larry and I went to Hawaii. And I was overwhelmed by the blessing of it all, by the beautiful landscapes, the ocean, by the blessing of the beautiful flowers, by the blessing of the man who was standing beside me, loving me. I was overwhelmed by blessing, and I was able to feel God in everything that we did. It's kind of easy to feel blessed when you're on vacation, though. But I remember trying to take each day to say thank you to God for those blessings. To not only be blessed by where we were, but to be blessed in naming those blessings. And so I was doubly blessed. We have the beautiful Thanksgiving banner up there that reminds us to give thanks to the Lord, and Thanksgiving will be here in a few short weeks before we even know it. And I love Thanksgiving, and not just because Larry does most of the cooking. Larry's family and friends will come and join us. His sister will make her delicious cranberries. His other sister will bring the vegetables. His parents will bring desserts, usually a pecan pie. And now, especially because I have two children, one that's out of college and one that's in college, that I don't get to see every day. As I sit around the table and I look at my family and my friends, again, I can't help but feel overwhelmed by how close God is through the blessings of my family. And in saying thanks to God, in that little holy moment, I feel doubly blessed. I don't know how to describe it. It's something that you have to experience for yourself, I think. That gratitude. And it's about perception. It's about seeing what's right in front of us sometimes, because it's so easy to get distracted by all the craziness in the world. By those 800 people in Haiti. They've been devastated by a hurricane. People in Florida and South Carolina and Georgia that don't have any power. By this craziness of this election and shootings and bombings and stabbings, sometimes it's hard to find those blessings that are right in front of us. And so we have to perceive them. We have to see them first. And naming them, writing them down is part of those blessings. And then how do we give thanks? How do we express our gratitude for those blessings? Each time these two things are combined, that seeing the blessing and then naming the blessing, giving thanks for it, we are doubly blessed. It's kind of like that saying, the more you give, the more you receive. I can't explain it. I don't know how it works. All I know is the more that I give, the more incredibly blessed I am. And when we realize that, beloved, when we realize how blessed we are, how close God is, we remember Jesus' words last week, that nothing is impossible with God. With God in our lives, we are free. Free from anxiety, free from fear, free from, you fill in the blank. With God with us, we are whole. With God with us, we are saved. You see, that's what the other 9 missed out on. It's not that they did anything wrong. It's not like they didn't give voice to their gratitude, but they didn't give voice to their blessing, to saying thanks. And so they missed out on being made whole. In naming our blessings, we're giving thanks. We are made whole. And just as Jesus' disciples are called to carry out those blessings, so are we. We are so incredibly blessed that when we remember and give thanks, we can go out and be a blessing. And so, beloved, you will find in the pews leaves. You will see on the back there, it looks like the kids got us started today, a bulletin board that says naming our blessings. And so I invite you to take a minute and write down what it is that you are grateful for. You can take up your whole leaf. You might need an extra leaf. Write your blessings down, and then as Miranda sings, I invite you, there's staplers back there. You can staple them on the bulletin board. And we'll keep that up through Thanksgiving so that we can be reminded not only of how blessed we are, but to say thanks to God.